In November 1975, the deserts of North Africa witnessed two very different marches, one led by unity and wisdom, the other driven by rage and revenge. On one side, a king, King Hassan II of Morocco, guiding his people not with tanks but with vision. And on the other, a military regime in Algeria clinging to power, threatened by a neighbor's triumph. This is the story of the Green March and the forgotten tragedy of the Black March, the forcible expulsion of Moroccan families from Algeria in one of the darkest episodes of North African history. November 6, 1975. Over 350,000 Moroccan civilians, men and women alike, marched south to reclaim the land of Western Sahara, peacefully occupied by Spain for decades. They carried no weapons, only Moroccan flags and copies of the Quran. Their leader, King Hassan II, whose genius lay in turning geopolitics into people power. He knew that a peaceful popular movement would be stronger than any bullet. He was right. But in neighboring Algeria, the reaction was different. The military regime, led by President Houari Boumediene, saw Morocco's peaceful victory as a threat. So they struck back not with diplomacy, but with vengeance. In December 1975, just weeks after the Green March, Algeria began what would later be known as the Black March, a mass deportation of Moroccan families who had lived in Algeria for generations. Overnight, between 45,000 and 350,000 Moroccans were stripped of their homes, their jobs, and even their citizenship, simply for being Moroccan. Families were torn apart, children were pulled from schools, elderly parents were left at borders. Property was seized, businesses shut down, communities destroyed. It was not a political move. It was collective punishment. A military regime lashing out at civilians because it could not handle a neighbor's peaceful success. The Green March was a symbol of unity, pride, and peaceful resistance. The Black March was a symbol of bitterness, oppression, and fear. Where Morocco chose diplomacy and strategy, Algeria chose rage and retaliation. Where Hassan II led with wisdom, the Algerian generals ruled through fear. Hassan II wasn't just a king. He was a strategist, a man who understood that in geopolitics the pen can be stronger than the sword. He gave his people a role in shaping history, and they responded with loyalty and pride. Meanwhile, in Algeria, a cold military regime could only respond with force, not logic. They didn't just fail to stop the Green March. They exiled innocent people in an act that still haunts families today. Decades later, survivors of the Black March still remember the day they lost everything: homes, family, roots, identity, and yet they also remember something else, that the truth doesn't fade, that the world must know what happened. This is not about hate, it's about history. It's about two paths, taken in the same month of the same year. One, toward peaceful liberation, the other toward military cruelty, a different leadership. If this story moved you, like, share, and subscribe. The world deserves to hear the truth about what really happened in 1975. And in the comments, tell us, do you or your family have memories of the Green March or the Black March? Their stories need to be told. Now let's continue. In 1975, North Africa was a tinderbox of change. The winds of independence and self-determination were sweeping across the region. In Morocco, King Hassan II sensed an opportunity to unite his people around a common cause: the recovery of Western Sahara from the departing Spanish colonialists. But in Algeria, President Houari Boumediene saw Morocco's growing influence as a threat to his own power. BMO, a former military officer who seized power in a coup, was obsessed with two things: crushing any opposition and expanding Algeria's territory. He had already fought a brutal war with Morocco over the Western Sahara region in the late 1960s. And now he saw the Moroccan people's growing desire for independence as a challenge to his rule. As the Green March approached, Boumediene's paranoia grew. He feared that if Morocco successfully reclaimed Western Sahara, then his own hold on power would be next. To prevent this, he hatched a sinister plan, a desperate attempt to undermine Morocco's growing popularity by creating a wave of hatred and fear. He would use the very thing that made Morocco strong, its people, against it, hoping to turn the tide of public opinion against Morocco. And so began the Black March. On November 1975, hundreds of thousands of Moroccans marched into the Western Sahara region, demanding its return from Spain. The march was peaceful, but its impact was anything but. It was a show of unity, of loyalty, and love for one's country. It was a display of discipline, order, and respect for both the land and its people. The Moroccan people demonstrated that they were capable of achieving what their leaders had failed to achieve through years of negotiations. But in Algeria, President Boumediene saw this display of unity and strength as a threat to his own power. He feared that if Morocco successfully reclaimed Western Sahara, then his own hold on power would be next. So he hatched a sinister plan, a desperate attempt to undermine Morocco's growing popularity by creating a wave of hatred and fear. He would use the very thing that made Morocco strong, its people, against it, hoping to turn the tide of public opinion against Morocco. The first act of this sinister plan was to expel all Moroccans living in Algeria. Overnight, some 400,000 Moroccans became refugees, forced to flee their homes and abandon their possessions. Families were torn apart. Children were ripped from their schools. Elderly parents left confused and alone at borders. Homes were ransacked. Businesses looted and destroyed. All in the name of a president's paranoia and lust for power. President Boumediene did not stop there. He went further, stripping all Moroccans of their Algerian nationality and seizing all their property, including homes, businesses, and farms. Whole communities were uprooted and left destitute, all based on nothing more than unfounded fears and prejudice. It was an act of pure evil, a senseless and brutal display of a leader's paranoia and lust for power. The Green March was a testament to the power of unity, peace, and strategic brilliance. Led by King Hassan II, it was a movement that brought together people from all walks of life, united in their goal of reclaiming their land from colonial rule. Through peaceful protests and strategic planning, the Moroccan people achieved what seemed impossible, forcing Spain to relinquish its hold on Western Sahara and recognize Morocco's sovereignty over the region. The Green March was not just a victory for Morocco, it was a victory for all of Africa. It showed that through unity and determination, Africans could take control of their own destiny and shape their own future. It was a beacon of hope in a continent that had been ravaged by colonialism and was still struggling to find its footing in the post-colonial world. The Green March remains an inspiration today, reminding us that through unity and nonviolent resistance, we can overcome even the most entrenched forms of oppression and injustice. It is a testament to the power of the people and the importance of strategic leadership in achieving lasting change. In the face of such unity, peace, and strategic brilliance, Algeria's response seems all the more petty and destructive. By resorting to violence, fear, and oppression, Algeria only succeeded in highlighting the superiority of Morocco's approach. The Black March was not only a tragic event in itself, but also a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked power and the importance of resisting oppression in all its forms. The story of the Green March and the Black March are two sides of the same coin. They are a reminder that in the face of oppression and injustice, we have a choice to make. We can either choose the path of unity, peace, and strategic brilliance, or the path of violence, fear, and oppression. The choice is ours. If you found this video informative and you want to support our work, please consider supporting us. Your support will help us continue to produce high-quality videos that bring you the news from an African perspective. Also, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss out on our latest updates. Thank you for watching, and bye.